All right, a little more than now, 5 weeks now before the Iowa caucuses, and already President Trump, the former president, of course, running away with it. That could change polls, especially around the Iowa caucuses, which are not quite your normal campaign affair, have a way of wildly swinging. But Nikki Haley has the momentum going for her. She's placing third in these national polls among Republicans, but she's had certainly a good deal of momentum, especially when it comes to donors who think she is a good one to put money on. Ken Langone might feel the same way. The Home Depot co-founder, kind enough to join us. Ken, good to see you.
Nice seeing you, Neil.
What about that? I mean, the talk is that you've sort of sized up the field, and you like Nikki Haley, and you want to support her.
Yes, I am going to support her. I think she's just what we need right now. I think her approach is smart. I think she's clarified herself on some issues, which is very important. And more importantly, I think the American people need this kind of leadership. Statesman-like, elegant. Just think of where we've been the last 6 or 7 or 8 years. It's not good, Neil. It's not good at all.
So by that, you did not like Ron DeSantis. I didn't mean to jump on you there, Ken. Why not Ron DeSantis?
No, I did like I did like Ron DeSantis. His numbers aren't moving, Neil.
Yeah.
The handwriting's on the wall. Now, on the other hand, Nikki Haley has had a very substantial upswing. Look, the one thing I am committed to is we've got to beat Joe Biden. If Joe Biden is going to be their nominee, we've got to beat him. We can't take any more of this man. What's going on in the country today is mayhem, absolute mayhem.
So you had a chance also to support the president front runner, Donald Trump. He beats Joe Biden in all these polls, so why not Donald Trump?
Look, I think his time has come and gone. Unfortunately, the last 3 months of his presidency certainly did not speak well of him, not in my mind anyway. I admired what Al Gore did in 2000 when David Boies said there was still a chance of fighting Bush in court, and Gore said, the American people have had enough. We're done. He put the American people ahead of him. What Trump put this country through for the last 3 months of his presidency was disgraceful. I'm sorry. And I think, frankly, that to me ruined his chances to succeed himself at some point. So, I think what happened on January 6th, all he had to say was, please go home. You made known your feelings, now go home. He sat in a room and watched it for 3 hours, did nothing about it. So America's better than that, and America deserves better than that, Neil.
Understood. So let me ask you, just to be clear for a lot of people who are just tuning in now, Ken Langone has decided to throw his support, financial support and otherwise, behind Nikki Haley. And what was her reaction when you told her that?
She was very grateful. She was very appreciative. She's excited, not only just about my involvement, but the fact that she's beginning to get significant traction. I've been to a few of the Koch events, the Americans for Prosperity.
Right.
Trust me, these guys know how to raise money, big money. Having them in her corner is no small feat. And I think the other thing, Neil, she said something the other day. She came in to see me, and I had a small group. You know she's flying commercial in her campaign right now? I was shocked. And I was pleasantly surprised. Just think of that. She said, I'm saving all the money I can for ads. And by the way, I think if she comes in second in Iowa, which is a good chance, in my opinion, I think that'll be pretty much the end of the rest of the candidates. That should be over for the rest of them.
Unless Ron DeSantis won Iowa. That's his goal, to win Iowa outright.
Well, by the way, if he doesn't win Iowa after all he's put into it, that's my point. Trump will win Iowa. If Ron DeSantis comes in second, is what you're saying.
No,
but if she comes in second, I think Ron's got to.
DeSantis thinks he has a good shot at winning Iowa.
Well, let me say this to you. Ron DeSantis would be a good president, too, and don't misunderstand me.
Okay.
We just have to have a winner. We need a winner. Bad. America needs a winner. What's going on in this country, Neil, for the last almost 8 years is disgraceful. It's pathetic. And this thing yesterday, this indictment of the president's son, just think of that. Just think of it. Just think of how we look as a nation. We're better than that, and we deserve better than that.
Now, Vivek Ramaswamy was critical of these endorsements that Nikki Haley's been getting, that she's essentially bought and paid for. She essentially ignored that criticism, but that's what happens when other candidates who might have wanted the same support, like your support, the Koch syndicate support, and they don't get it, but they look like, and the other way that people who didn't get it play it is that you've got a candidate of corporate interest. Ken Langone is a multi-billionaire, one of the richest guys on earth, and he likes her. Instantly, I shouldn't. What do you say?
Oh, you know, first of all, it's sour grapes. Don't forget that. It's sour grapes. But secondly, my business interests are all in the United States of America, thank God. I have no investments in China. I take that back. I have an investment as a result of a spinoff of Yum Brands in China.
Right.
That's it. But all my interests are here in America. By the way, I had a great day today. I got a nice Christmas present. Eli Lilly raised their dividend today 15%. How about that?
All right, but you know, you mentioned the markets, and they've been doing well of late, and now, of course, we had a stronger than expected jobs report. The White House sort of hones in on that and says the trend is their friend, and all this stuff you bemoan with the economy just won't materialize. And by Election Day, the American people will see it and feel it, and they're off to the races. And another 4 years in the White House. What do you think of that?
I think we're going to have a very serious recession at some point. Okay, we cannot conduct our affairs the way we are now, and not have to pay the price at some point. We've stalled it, but when you look, for example, at the deficit, when you look at inflation, when you look at all of the issues that we're confronted with as a nation, we've got to completely rebuild. Our military has been neglected. Let's be honest about it. All these munitions we've given now to Israel, to Ukraine, they've all got to be replenished. And Neil, the biggest problem we have of all is 70%, more than 70% of our federal budget is entitlements. What the hell am I doing getting $3,500 a month? I shouldn't get a nickel from the government. I should pay for my own health care. We've got to stop this living the way we're living. And it's going to take a strong leader to give us the castor oil we need to take.
Why not Chris Christie?
And if we don't do it, Neil...
Why not Chris Christie? He's the only one you didn't mention.
Look, I was early on a supporter of Chris Christie's. He's not the guy. That's the bottom line. He's not the guy. And this guy, Ramaswamy, I can't pronounce his name, he should have his mouth washed out with soap, okay?
Let me ask you about, if it doesn't go your way, Ken, and it turns out Donald Trump is the Republican nominee, you're a Republican. Would you support him as the nominee and vote for him for president?
Neil, honest to God, I don't know. I hope to God I'm not given that choice. Because on the other side of the coin, who's going to be the Democratic nominee? Look, Biden's got a real problem. I think the reason Biden wants to stay in office is that he has some measure of influence over the Justice Department, which we proved he did have up until last June. Don't forget, this same guy, this guy Weiss, was going to let this kid plead guilty and turn him into misdemeanors. And now you got a 56-page indictment that's loaded with all kinds of horrible happenings. I mean, what's wrong with America? What are we going to?
So that's your choice,
we need to fix this
that
bad.
Could be your choice, Ken. It's between Joe Biden, it's between Donald Trump. You got to make a choice. What would it be?
I wouldn't vote for. Maybe I'll write my wife's name. I got an idea. I'll write Elaine's name in. I know I can have complete confidence in Elaine. She'll be a write-in candidate, okay?
There you go. So you're not going to support Donald Trump?
Neil,
no way, no how.
Neil, I just hope that's not my choice, okay? I really hope so. Look, America's tired. We've got serious issues we've got to address. The border problem is huge. The deficit, gigantic. Defense spending, public education. I haven't mentioned that. It's a national disgrace. These are all significant issues that we've got to address. When is the last time you heard somebody talking about the deplorable condition of public education? Rarely. You know how China's going to beat us? That's how they're going to beat us, Neil. They're going to educate their kids better than we're educating our kids. And it's going to be game, set, match. We got to wake up. Look, I'm 88, and thank God I got a bunch of tests the other day, and I'm told I'm going to be around a while. The good Lord willing, I'm okay. But, Neil, what are we leaving our kids and our grandchildren? What are we leaving them? Who's thinking about that? We've got to fix this problem, and we desperately need leadership. We need assertive leadership. We need inspiring leadership. We need leadership that puts the country ahead of him or herself. I think Nikki Haley, and by the way, I have a hunch, just a hunch, that a lot of these suburban moms that were very, very vocal, made their positions very clear in the last cycle, the congressional cycle in 22. I have a hunch she has a good shot at getting a lot of them. That could change the game, big time.
All right, we shall see. Ken Langone, an honor to talk to you again, and thank you for all you've done.
Nice talking to you, Neil. Have a Merry Christmas, you and your family, and a lot of health next year. Right. And God bless America. One last thing, Neil.
Sure.
I say it all the time. Don't give up on America. We're the greatest country on earth. We always will be. We got challenges, but we'll get to them, and we'll get to them in a way that the country will be stronger and better. Have a nice weekend, Neil.
You too. Merry Christmas. Ken Langone, making it official.
Merry Christmas to you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.